just history. It is a dark part of our history that should not be celebrated the way that it is. It might be a contentious issue, and because of that, that's a part of the reason why it should come down as well. We are looking at this in the scope and in the shadow of Charlottesville. That was a game changer. I wanted to see what the commission was going to come back and say, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold another commission meeting just as charged as the first one was pre-Charlottesville. So this resolution simply begins the process of saying we would like, as a locality, the ability to decide whether we want them to stay or whether we want them to go. It is not an either or issue. It is a both and. We are going to sit back and say, well, we should focus on crime. Yeah, we should focus on crime, but we should focus on monuments as well. Monuments are still a part of the same system that allows for public housing to exist the way that it does, that allows our children to be miseducated and undereducated. The reality is this: they're going to say, well, shouldn't we focus those funds on fixing our schools? Well, we should have did that when we built Redskins Park. We should have did that when we gave money to breweries. If we can find money for breweries and ballparks, man, we can find money to take down these statues. But the first question that we have to ask is, are they morally right? That's the first question. Before we talk about funding or whether or not we have the money to take them down, we need to ask the moral question. Is it right for them to stand? You know, I saw one headline that said, racists go home. Well, the reality is this: racists are home here in Richmond, Virginia. Racists feel at home in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so we have a responsibility as the former capital of the Confederacy. And I do say former. We are not the capital of the Confederacy, because the Confederacy is non-existent. It is the lost cause. And so we have a responsibility to address this and do the right thing. And this is our opportunity to do it. And as an African American, as an African American leader, as a city councilman, I have a responsibility to introduce this resolution, because if I don't, who else will? Here's something that's interesting. Why aren't more black people infuriated by this thing? You know, and it's interesting. Are they concerned, or have we just been so lulled into a state of acceptance that we no longer speak out against open injustices? So for me, that is an issue. My desire would be that African Americans, young, that are in school, that they're only fed slavery and Jim Crow segregation, that they would find out about that period right in between, that they would find out about their history, that they would become educated about what these statues really mean, why they were put up. My great-grandmother, she didn't have a voice when those statues went up. So the public process was averted then. And so now we have an opportunity to hear what's really the deal, what people really feel about these statues. Slavery existed for over 400 plus years in this country, right? And so as an African American male, I equate those men to Adolf Hitler, period. And so what I would want my white brothers and sisters to say is that, you know what? We can at least empathize with your pain. We understand. Man, I empathize with you that your great-grandfather fought in the Civil War. Man, I get that. But again, we cannot negate the other side of that story as well, that, you know what? They were part of a system that saw my people in shackles. No, I mean, if they still want to keep the whole motif of Monument Avenue, then yeah, we can put artwork up, or we can just make it a wider thoroughfare. But the reality of why they should or should not come down should not be based on property value. That is a bad and dangerous ethic.